So I'm apparently live right now. Um, let's see. I need to send this to Christopher. Sorry, this is um literally just got the document right now. Live now. I wasn't expecting when I hit that it was going to put me live right this second. Um I thought I was just setting up my live. Let me see. I don't know if I can make a post on here. Um Hey Maz. Um I'm in Facebook jail, so that's why we're back here on YouTube. So, but that's why I like to do the videos better on YouTube because I'm never in YouTube jail. I mean, I'm hardly on here, but I'm never in YouTube jail. I'm in Facebook jail for calling somebody a moron, whatever. Um So I am Jax West. I run Steven Avery Project, MAM Gossip, and Justice with Jax over on Facebook with the help of Christopher since I go into jail. Um and um yeah, I know. Um so I just got from the clerk. It's only 3 pages long, and even in the 3 pages, you would say it's really only a page and a quarter? Not even. So, really, really short, and not much to it, and only cost me with whatever extra charges they put on there, it was only like $4 and change. But this is motion for leave to file Mr. Avery's second amended notice of motion and third motion for post-conviction relief pursuant to Wisconsin statute 974.06 and 805.15. Hopefully Christopher makes a post over on Stephen Avery Project and let them know that we're live right now, but because I don't think I can post on Facebook. So the bulk of people will have to get it. It's the Debbie show. Hello, Debbie. They'll have to get it on the rewind. All right, here we go. I have not read this yet. I literally started setting up. I came upstairs because this is where I do these lives from in my spare bedroom with a computer I never use except to go live. I haven't been on YouTube trying to figure it out. Thank you, Maz. Um, and was just waiting because somebody submitted to MAM Gossip that a filing had been made. And so then from that, it's like, all right, now I'm on the lookout for it. So I emailed KZ, and then somebody messaged me and they said, I hear it's only 3 pages and only like $3 and change or whatever. So I'm like, all right, I'll just email the clerk. So I emailed the clerk, and then they have to send me, first I have to pay for it. And so it was the $3 and change plus whatever fees they tacked on top of it, but still only $4 and something. So I have not read this yet. Literally, I was upstairs here, like puttering around, going, I hope this is going to come relatively fast because they said it was only 3 pages. So here we go. Okay. Sorry. Please take notice that the petitioner, Stephen A. Avery, Mr. Avery, by and through his current post-conviction attorneys, Kathleen T. Zellner and Associates, PC, and Stephen G. Richards, respectfully moves this court for leave to file the attached second amended motion and exhibits incorporated herein as Exhibit A, and in support thereof states as follows. I don't think there's any exhibits attached to this, so okay, we'll see what it is. 1. Current counsel has spoken twice with the current Manitowoc Clerk of Court, April Higgins, and the history of the Avery case filings at Manitowoc. Ms. Higgins explained that the Manitowoc Record Index is confusing, but can be explained by the fact that when Manitowoc enacted electronic filing in 2013 24 to 2014, many of the Avery court filings were scanned, but not in order of the court proceedings. One small example of this confusion is the record index numbering system order goes from 819 to 817 to 633 to 394. There are many more examples of this non sequential numbering, making it challenging to locate documents. Additionally, handwritten document numbers were placed at the bottom of the documents before 2014. Mr. Avery is providing this court with parallel citations to the Manitowoc Record Index, the appellate record, and separate appendices to eliminate any possible confusion for this court about Mr. Avery's citations. 2. Therefore, Mr. Avery moves this court for leave to file his second amended motion and exhibit with the correct citations to the Manitowoc Record Index. False alert. We're still waiting then for the real filing. Wah, 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 wah. This is just so when she makes the real filing that she uses the correct numbers. Mm, and tomorrow is the date for that filing. So, right? I don't know. So that's all this one is. But I never understand too, why do I have to pay money per page when you're not printing this for me? You're just emailing it to me. It doesn't cost you anything to email this to me. People are at the clerk's office that are being paid for their time to be there. I just paid, not that $4 is a lot of money, but I just paid $4 for nothing. Jizzle, it's nothing. It's stating that, prior to 2014, that, the filings are not in proper sequential order. So she just wants to be sure what she's citing for the filing. So it's nothing. Dang, nothing. But on the plus side, the case is still going. We always get these questions on Steven Avery project. Is Kathleen still with the case? Yes, she is. Whoops. She hasn't left the case. She hasn't lost faith in the case. Just our system takes so long. And she says, and I always forget this number, I want to say 15 years. She says it takes typically 15 years to overturn a wrongful conviction from when she takes the case, not 15 years that they've been in prison since she took it over, and that now she's done the research and looked into all the evidence and everything. And she has only been on Stephen's case since 2016, January of 2016. No, Maz, I haven't heard from Steven since his mother died. That was the last time I heard from Steven. Um, so, the other one of the other cases that I work on, Melissa Kaluzinski, whom you all know, is the one that's most personal for me. This is the 14-year anniversary of her incarceration. I don't know what year Kathleen took Melissa's case. I don't remember. I should look that up. Um But Kathleen hasn't been on Melissa's case the full 14 years. She's been with Melissa longer than she was with Steven. Um, let's see, can I Google it? Kathleen Zellner takes Melissa Kaluzinski case. Let me see if I'll get the. Mm-mm-mm. She spoke out in People magazine on Melissa Kaluzinski in 2016, but that's. Mm, here she is, um, 2018 in trial. Um, I'm not seeing, and I'm sure her dad's not watching this. If I was on Facebook, maybe Paul would be watching. But I know Kathleen has been with Melissa longer than Steven, and Melissa's still in prison. And she hasn't left Melissa's case. She's still with Melissa's case. It just it just takes time. Um so I hope people it's hard to have the patience. I get it. But 12 years rings a bell with Maz. Okay. Um so Kathleen is absolutely doing anything and everything she can with all the cases that she's on. There is nobody better than Kathleen Zellner. She has freed the most people, an individual freeing wrongfully convicted. I'm not talking about Innocence Project, who has, an army of attorneys across the country. This is one person. She's freed 20, I want to say. And then the Marnie Yang case that I'm back on, that attorney, Jed Stone and Kathleen Zellner, both Illinois. So much corruption in our law enforcement in Illinois. Jed Stone, I want to say he's freed like 10 or 11. Um, but it just takes time because Marnie Yang's case comes from the same place that Melissa's does. Around the same time, Lake County, Illinois. Corrupt. Um, so for anybody who's just tuning in now, it's a false alarm. Kathleen was just filing because she says prior to 2014? See, I'm so bad with dates. Where is my thing? There it is. Um, where is it? Current counsel has spoken twice with the current Manitowoc Clerk of Court, April Higgins, about the history of the Avery case filings at Manitowoc. Ms. Higgins explained that the Manitowoc Record Index is confusing, but can be explained by the fact that when Manitowoc enacted electronic filing in 2013 and 2014, many of the Avery court filings were scanned, but not in order of the court proceedings. One small example of this confusion is the record index numbering system. Order goes from 819 to 817 to 633 to 394. There are many more examples of this non-sequential numbering, making it challenging to locate documents. Additionally, handwritten document numbers were placed at the bottom of the documents before 2014. Mr. Avery is providing this court with parallel citations to the Manitowoc Record Index, the appellate record, and separate appendices to eliminate any possible confusion for this court about Mr. Avery's citations. Therefore, Mr. Avery moves this court for leave to file his second amended motion and exhibit with the correct citations to the Manitowoc Record Index. That's it. That's all it is. Hey, Millbilly. So it's nothing of importance. And we still wait. I don't know. Let's see. In my drawer down here. Are there any court documents down here? Just wanted to see if I had an example of a handwritten thing. Let me see. What is this? So, like, I have the exhibit list. I don't know for sure how to do this with the light. Exhibit list, and there's a handwritten number on the bottom of that. So that exhibit list has the number 259 written on the bottom. I don't know what this one is. It looks like it says 12. And then the next page of the exhibit list says 3 on the bottom of it. And I don't know if this is what she's talking about, but yeah, because this exhibit list is, let me see, trying to find where the exhibit list ends here. This is how thick the exhibit list is. And it's a different handwritten number on the bottom of each page. What is this one? Lab finding, Sherry Culhane. Nothing handwritten on the bottom of this report. Sorry, as I'm looking through these. Ugh. Here's the email from Ken Kratz to Sherry Culhane. And on this one, it's got the exhibit number stamped on the bottom. And then there's something typed on the bottom that says state, and then looks like a 5-digit number. And this is from 2006. While we're just sitting here, nothing's going on, let's just read this email that Ken Kratz sent to Sherry Culhane, big hair, lab liar. It was sent on Tuesday, February 7th, 2006 at 1:16 p.m. to Culhane Sherry L. Subject regarding Steven Avery case. Thank you so much for your quick response. Sounds like you've got everything handled. I spoke to Mark Wiegert, and he mentioned he called about swabbing the trigger portion of the gun for DNA, then sending it off to the tool mark guys. Thanks for doing that. Thank you for testing all the stains in the SUV. That will be a huge weapon against the claim of planted evidence. The STR PowerPoint I found is pretty basic, and I don't intend to go into a lot of the science. Whenever I do this, it's because he put the word in quotes. So science is in quotes. Of the DNA analysis for the jury. This is consistent with the way Norm does it. I still don't understand the 2 new markers, Penta E and D. What chromosomes are analyzed, inspected, associated with these? How do you pronounce? Is it Loci? 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 I really should put glasses on. I'm struggling to try and read this. I'm sure you'll explain what 5 base pair repeats means at the necessary time, so we don't need to go into that now. Can you identify the 7 loci that matched on the tissue analysis? Most of what will be presented at trial will be computer based exhibits, PowerPoint. So, although we can develop charts and the like, we'll need to do that in a computer format, then just print out a small page to have marked as the actual exhibit for court. Mark Wiegert is checking the 1985 Manitowoc blood sample taken to make sure what it was. So, he's got you in all capitals. So, you tested that sample back then? How bizarre is that? Yeah, what a coinky dink. Were you also the analyst that got him out of prison in 2003? I understand the frequency point on the mtDNA match. It's amazing. However, how much weight the public attributed to that finding locally that, quote, the FBI confirms that the human remains are that of the victims, unquote, exclamation point. We were careful not to say that at all, but perceptions are what they are. On that topic, didn't the RFLP testing use 7 Loki for a match? I do not need your profiles generated on all capitalized, the results. The way you did your last report is fine, lumping all the profiles that were from each respective source together. The only thing I do still want is a profile developed for the 3 men that submitted elimination exemplars: Chuck Avery, Earl Avery, Bobby Dassey. I totally understand that your protocol suggests that you stop developing elimination profiles when you have a match, but in this case, the only men on the property when the victim was killed included the defendant, Steven, and his 2 brothers, Earl and Chuck, and his nephew, Bobby. I want to be able to show, all capital, the jury what these profiles look like and show, all capitalized again, them they do not match the blood recovered from the SUV. I know this seems overly sensitive to the CSI effect, but it eliminates a whole line of defense questioning and possible jury confusion as to why it wasn't done. Here's the good news. I don't need that done right away! Exclamation point. Anytime by May or June would be just fine. Does that sound okay? Please send the elimination profiles themselves so I can include them in the exhibits. So, just those 3 exemplars, since Barb and Dolores can be eliminated on XY alone. And I think that's all I need. Never thought you'd hear that, hey? Send your reports when you can, or call or write if you need anything else. I'll be talking to Norm, and we'll make an appointment when it's convenient for you. Thanks again, Sherry. Ken. Ugh, he's so gross. What are these other things? Since now I came on here and we have nothing. What are these? I've got so many things that I printed out way back in the day. So, exhibit, submitting agency, Sheriff Jerry Poggle, case name Teresa Hallbach. The following items of evidence were recovered from a blue 4-door Toyota RAV4, VIN number blah, 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 and examined in the DNA unit of this laboratory. Item A1, question stain recovered from the rear cargo area. Item A2, question stain recovered from the panel across rear of cargo area. Item A3, question stain recovered from the inside of rear cargo door. Item A4, question stain recovered from metal frame around rear door opening. Item A5, hair recovered from the back seat. Item A6, question stain cut from the driver's seat. Item A7, reddish brown crusts. Crust. Remember that, crust. Now I have to find where I was before I looked up. Recovered from the floor between center console and driver's seat. Item A8, question stain recovered from an area to the right of the ignition. A9, question stain cut from the front passenger seat. Question stain recovered from a black CD case. 11, question material recovered from the cargo area, driver's side door. 12. Question stain recovered from the metal panel around the rear door entrance. 13A. Swabbings from the quote compact flash card unquote recovered from the cargo area. 14. One quote wild cherry Pepsi unquote can recovered from the front console. 23. Swabbing from the rear exterior door handle of cargo door. Sweat, sweat, sweat. Thank you, Maz. In addition, apparent hairs were recovered from items A1 and A4. No examinations were conducted at this time because why would you conduct any examination on hair found? Just like why would you look into fingerprints? That's crazy talk. B1. Question stain recovered from the passenger side of the front console. B2. Question stain recovered from the top of the center console. B3. Question stain recovered from the center console near the rear window button. B4. Question stain recovered from the gear shaft. B5. Question stain cut from the back seat driver's side. The following items were also examined in the DNA unit of this laboratory. Item C, one Toyota key attached to a blue key ring. Item D1, one red-handled toothbrush reportedly belonging to Teresa Halbach. Results. Chemical analysis of the reddish-brown question stains of items blah, 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 blah indicate the presence of blood. Shocking. Human deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, was isolated from items blah, 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 blah. The DNA was amplified using the polymerase chain reaction, PCR method, and typed for 15 short tandem repeat, STR, genetic markers, as well as the gender marker amylogenin. Not a scientist or a doctor or pretend to be one. Using the Promega PowerPlex 16 amplification kit. The DNA profiles obtained are listed in the following table. And so this one on the bottom, it's got stuff typed. How do I do this with this light on? Do I need to go past the light? Go to the light, Carol Ann. The profile developed from items A1 and A14 are consistent with originating from the same female individual. Okay, but it doesn't say Teresa Halbach there. The profile developed from items blah, 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 blah are consistent with originating from the same male individual. So far, not saying it's Steven Avery. No DNA profile was obtained from items blah, blah. Item blah, blah was not utilized for STR DNA analysis. A keyboard search of the profile from item A6 on November 10, 2005 against the Wisconsin DNA data bank resulted in a match to a DNA profile contained in the convicted offender index. The information regarding this convicted offender sample is as follows, and it's now saying Steven Avery. So what is item A6? A6, question stain cut from the driver's seat is A6. This match could be considered an investigative lead. Confirmation of this DNA match requires the submission of a biological standard from this individual to the Wisconsin State Crime Laboratory, Madison. Conclusion: a biological standard from Steven Allen Avery must be submitted to this laboratory for confirmation of the match to the STR DNA profile obtained from item A6. The DNA profile developed from items A1 and A14. So A1 is question stain recovered from the rear cargo area, and 14 is one wild cherry Pepsi can recovered from the front console. Is consistent with originating from the same female individual. Any further interpretations will require the submission of additional biological standards. Evidence disposition. All items will be returned to the submitting agency upon completion of all analysis. So it's not saying, or maybe they hadn't tested it yet, but the main blood that we always hear them attribute to Steven is that Q-tape placed squiggle by the ignition. And so maybe they hadn't tested that yet. I don't know. They listed all. But it's not saying that traced back to Steven, at least at that time. And I still say, since that's on the middle finger, how does your middle finger turning a key hit the dashboard and make that squiggle? My hand has never touched my dashboard. I don't understand that. Okay, so what's this one? Evidence release return. DNA packet returned. Released by Sue Gitchell to Detective Dave Remaker on 10/13/2003. Or actually, they sent it on September 25th, 2003, but Remaker is signing that he took custody of it on 10/13/03. And so they sent him one sealed envelope containing questioned hairs, one heat-sealed plastic bag containing pubic hair combings, one heat-sealed plastic bag containing a pubic hair sample, one heat-sealed plastic bag containing standard hair sample, one heat-sealed plastic bag containing fingernail scrapings, one sealed envelope containing questioned hairs, one sealed plastic bag containing standard hair collected from Steven Avery, one sealed envelope containing buccal swab standard recovered from Steven Avery. So this is the stuff that they took from Steven that they weren't supposed to. And then claimed, oh, we just threw it away. Next one. And this one, so this is Poggle. Confidential report of laboratory findings, Exhibit 498. And then it does have handwritten stuff on the bottom of this one too. The following items were examined and processed for the presence of identifiable finger and or palm prints. 1998 blue, not green, blue 4-door Toyota RAV4, VIN number blah blah. Front driver's side blinker light, one lug wrench, one Sunbelt crunchy granola bar wrapper, one garage door opener wrapped in duct tape, one bottle of Aquafina water, one black plastic CD carrying case, one empty bottle of Aquafina water, one partially full bottle of Aquafina water, one vinyl wheel cover from spare tire, 8 latent prints, one RAV4 license plate with an 06 sticker, one RAV4 license plate. Latent prints, which are suitable for identification purposes, were observed and developed on items A blah, 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 blah. These latent prints were compared with the inked fingerprints and palm prints on the following standard inked fingerprint and palm print cards bearing the names Steven Avery. So AS. There is no AS now marked on here. I'm confused. Item AS, but there is no AS on here. But it says item AS goes to Steven A. Avery. Item AT There's no AT listed. Stephen A. Avery, fingerprints only. Item AU, no AU. Stephen A. Avery, right palm print. Item AV, Stephen A. Avery, left palm print with, and then it says Stephen Allen Avery Sr. AV, no AV. No, none of these are on here. Next is Alan K. Avery fingerprints. Item BA is Alan K. Avery palm prints. Item BT is Brian J. Dessy. Instead of Dassey, it says Dessy. Next is Charles E. Avery, then Earl K. Avery, then Bobby A. Dassey, and then Dolores A. Avery, and Barbara E. Yanda, and finally Scott A. Blodorn. No identifications were affected. Photographs of the latent prints will be retained on file pending any further comparisons you may request. And then it has handwritten on the bottom, Exhibit 498 2. This page is type of activity. Receipt of trace evidence unit examination on Halbach remains. Date of activity 2/28/06. Reporting officer, investigator Mark Wiegert. On 2/28/06. That's the day they didn't question Steve or Brendan. God, it's been so long since I've thought about all this stuff, but there was a whole thing on, um, they questioned Brendan, and then they didn't question him one day. That's the day that the alleged skull fragments were found, that, they then wanted to say that she was shot in the head, and then wasn't it March 1? Um, that then they brought him in and forced him into that confession. Let me read, what Michael McKinney says. Yeah. Um, David Reed, what do you think about the Jensen guy who got a new trial and he killed his wife with antifreeze? I haven't heard of that case. Millbilly says both sides asked for summary judgments. Colborn wants a jury trial. Netflix wants the judge to watch Making a Murderer. I cannot believe Colborn is trying this crap, because anybody who's watched Making a Murderer, when you saw him on the stand, I do think if he was pushed just a little more on, his call the night that he was seen at the Senex station, um, he would have folded. So you made yourself look guilty, not the documentary. Documentary was just showing what he said and how he was behaving. All right, so let's go back into investigator Mark Wiegert. So on 2/28/06, I, investigator Wiegert of the Calumet County Sheriff's Department, received confidential report of laboratory findings from analyst Kenneth B. Osborne from the Wisconsin State Crime Lab. The report indicates the following items were submitted to the Trace Evidence Unit for examination. Oh, yeah, so this is what it is. Item EJ, charred cranial pieces. Item EK, charred cranial pieces. Item EJ had one piece of charred skull that was labeled suspected entrance defect. Elemental analysis was performed on the suspected entrance defect and other areas of the charred bones. Traces of lead metal were detected on one area of the exterior surface of the suspected entrance defect. The source of the lead material could not be determined. See, again, we don't know that those bones were Teresa Halbach, and we don't know if whatever bones those were shot. The source of the lead metal could not be determined. And then item EK, the other part of the alleged skull, was not examined, because why examine it? For more information on this, please see the laboratory findings report, which will be included with this. Investigation continues. Investigator Mark Wiegert. I have 2 copies of that for whatever reason. Teresa Hallbach's death certificate, where it's always been so interesting. Where is it? Date pronounced dead, November 10, 2005. And then what else was on here? So the date she's pronounced dead is November 10, 2005. Date signed by medical examiner, December 5th, 2005. The registrar's signature is December 6th, 2005. Immediate cause says undetermined. And then undetermined is just scratched out, a line through it. Let me see if I can find it on here. Can you see that? Undetermined and a line through it. On her death certificate. Manner of death, it's got homicide checked. Actual or estimated date of death, unknown. All right, and what's this? Oh, this starts the visitors, because I've got all of Stephen and Brendan's visitors from, where did they start? I don't remember. (2010) until the pandemic shut down visits. So I have who visited Stephen and Brendan and how many times. Jen, it's a false alarm. There was nothing. This is just because for Kathleen's filing, I guess anything that was filed prior to 2014, some of the documents have handwritten numbers on the bottom of the documents and they don't go in sequential order. So it's pretty much to get clarification on how to file. So nothing really newsworthy yet, but she is still to file. This is the people, the visitor log of in and out of the salvage yard that I have highlighted every time. Ryan Hilgas, Scott Blodorn, Ryan Hilgas, Scott Blodorn, Scott Blodorn, Ryan Hilgas, Ryan Hilgas, Scott Blodorn. They are in and out of that crime scene on November 7th and November 8th. And then tons of other Hallbach family. Brian and Laura Hallbach, Dennis Hallbach, Nancy Hallbach. There's Nancy Hallbach again. Brian, Lori, and Dennis Hallbach. Gary Hallbach, Debbie Hallbach. Brian, Lori, and Dennis Hallbach. Gary Hallbach, Debbie Hallbach. Why is the alleged victim's family going in and out of a crime scene, yet they're not letting Dolores go and get her pills? What is this? Who's this letter from? Oh, Kent. Kent's out of prison. No, so oh, this was email I sent to Brendan. Oh, this is more. Somebody named Mike Hallwachs, Hallwachs, was going in and out that I just thought was interesting. And who is this Mike Hallwachs? So that's that handful of stuff that I just pulled out. What else do I have in here? A letter from Brendan. Oh my gosh. This is when I organized a protest against Ken's Kratz. And because I organized this protest against Kratz, he ended up canceling it. Wah, wah. This is the only one that Kathleen Zellner ever sent to me. This is motion for post-conviction scientific testing that was filed August 26, 2016. So this nice book just showed up in my mail. I haven't looked at this in a long time. What else is in here? That's not of importance. That's empty. This is Brendan Dassey versus Michael Dittman. Filed 11/14/2016. I'm not going to keep digging. But, all right, let me see. Does anybody have any questions that I need to answer? So, bottom line, we still wait. Kathleen is working on it. When we get an actual filing, we'll go live again and read that. Oh, thank you, Jen. Yeah, okay. Plug my book. So it is available in hardcover, and paperback, an ebook on Amazon, Wrongfully Abused. I talk about the case, but it is more about my experience in being involved in the case. Could you send me a link to what they gave you? What, the thing today, Millbilly? This thing? Send my email is official Steven Avery project at gmail.com. Send me an email and I'll respond to you and send it to you. So okay, so as soon as we get her filing, that I believe, so does that mean she still has to file by tomorrow? Because I thought the 26th was the date. So as soon as we get that, we'll go live. It'll probably be here on YouTube. Allegedly, my Facebook jail is only for 24 hours, but who knows? But it's probably better if we do it here. I get far more people who watch me when I go on Steven Avery Project on Facebook, but anybody who really cares, you can find it over here on YouTube. And then Christopher will share the link on Steven Avery Project. If somebody wants to comment on Steven Avery Project and let them know that this was a false alarm, since I can't post, please do that. So people, because I'm sure there's plenty of people right now who are crazed trying to find out what Kathleen filed. and for them to know it's nothing yet. We're still waiting. All right, then I am going to go. Thank you everybody for joining me. Thank you for the people who reached out and told me that there had been some kind of filing. Um I'm banned. My personal page, Jen, is banned because I called somebody a moron. Um so I have a 24-hour Facebook ban. Ooh, I called somebody a moron. Scary. Um but so if you find out that Kathleen has filed, you can send me. Oh, you got it? Okay. Um, if so if you can send me an email to official Stephen Avery Project at gmail.com, or you can message on Facebook to Stephen Avery Project or MAM Gossip or Justice with Jax, whatever is easiest for you. Um, Justice with Jax at gmail.com is another email that I have. Whatever is easiest for you. Let me know. Because y'all are on top of this way more than me a lot of times, so you'll see it before I do. Make sure you like and subscribe to this YouTube, so hopefully you would get notified if when I go live next on here. All right, I'm out. Thank you, Maz. Um Investigation continues.